A procession of pilgrims brings pots of holy water from India's great river in a traditional ceremony. The Ganges. It's a name that resonates through the millennia in legend and history, a symbol of Indian civilization. The river does not just provide food and water to the millions who farm or fish in North India and Bangladesh. It's also worshipped as a goddess. From its source in a Himalayan glacier to its swampy delta 2,500 kilometers away in the Bay of Bengal, the Ganges is sacred to Hindus, a fount of blessings and purification, a place to live, to worship, and to die. Here on the pristine upper reaches of the Ramganga, one of its tributaries, it's easy to imagine the gods and heroes of old frolicking in the river's pure waters or drinking their fill after a day's hunting. These hills are the haunt of tigers, elephants, otters and fish eagles. The water is so clear you can see the golden and silver mahseer swimming in the river. But it's a shock to see the river after it reaches the North Indian plain. Downstream of Moradabad and its million people, the same Ramganga is a filthy sewer. Human waste and industrial effluent from paper mills, sugar plants and other industries pour into the river. Then there's the hazardous waste from the crude recycling of electronic products. It's illegal and normally done at night, but a few venture out by day and join the foundry workers, swirling their ash into the river to recover tiny pieces of brass. One local dentist has joined a group of campaigners trying to save the river.
बचपन में जब मैं बहुत छोटा था और रामगंगा बिल्कुल साफ थी, ऐसे ही मेरे जीते जी ये गंगा फिर साफ होगी और फिर इसमें मैं तो नहीं नहा पाऊँ, शायद बूढ़ा हो जाऊँ, लेकिन मेरे बच्चे जरूर नहाएंगे इसके अंदर आकर.
Narendra Modi, a devout Hindu, chose the ancient city of Varanasi on the Ganges as his parliamentary seat in the election that swept him to power. And one of his first promises was to clean the sacred river. It will be difficult. In months of investigations, we found the river and its tributaries to be abused in ways that are not only unsightly, but also dangerous to human and animal health. Dams divert most of the flow in the upper Ganges for irrigation, leaving stretches of the river bereft of water in the dry season. The great cities pour in their untreated human sewage and add to the toll of hundreds of Indian children who die each day from diarrhea. Half-cremated human corpses and animal carcasses also pollute the water. Another danger is the presence in the water of so-called NDM genes that incorporate themselves in bacteria and create superbugs resistant to antibiotic drugs. Farms add pesticides and the runoff from fertilizers, while tanneries and factories contribute carcinogenic heavy metals. Pollution data in India is scanty, but the information that does emerge can be alarming. Toxics Link, an NGO, recently published a study on the sediments of the Yamuna, on which many of Delhi's vegetables are grown in the dry season. It found the riverbed to be highly contaminated with heavy metals.
These are most dangerous heavy metals. Some of them are recognized by highly dangerous by WHO as well. These are like lead, mercury, cadmium, chromium and arsenic. And in our study we have found a chromium in very high level, that is more than 700 ppm. In case of lead, again we have found a high amount of concentration in after Vajirabad locations.
The once lovely Yamuna River of Indian legend, one of the main tributaries of the Ganges, is now no more than a sewer of black water littered with foam and filth. It will be no easy task to clean the Ganges and make it worthy of the name of India's sacred river. The Yamuna downstream of Delhi, it's true, is particularly vile. At one point, the level of fecal bacteria indicating human sewage can reach nearly 500,000 times the recommended maximum. But after each major city along the Ganges, we see a similar spike in pollutants. Scientists, Hindu holy men, and the Indian government all now have a common aim: to save the Ganges from the excesses of humanity, just as the Thames in England and the Rhine in continental Europe were saved in the past and their waters restored to something like their original state. But even if Mr. Modi's Ganges campaign begins to have an impact, it will take money and plenty of time before that goal is achieved. Victor Mallet, Financial Times, on the Ganges.